You know, when you see a street dog, helping it might feel like just a simple act of charity. But what if I told you it's so much more than that? In this explainer, we're going to dig into how this one act of compassion is actually a huge social responsibility, and when we look at it through an Islamic lens, a really profound spiritual duty.
So let's ask ourselves this. Is giving a dog some food or water just a good deed? Or is there something bigger going on here? Does it connect to a much deeper principle about our place in the world? This question right here is what gets us to the very heart of the whole thing. All right, so let's start with the big why. It all comes down to compassion. The core principle driving this whole conversation is mercy. And this isn't just a nice idea, it's a fundamental call to action, and it's rooted deep in both faith and really basic human ethics.
I mean, it all starts with something super simple, right? Recognizing that animals are living beings. They're not that different from us. They feel pain, they get hungry, they get scared. And once you really get that we share this ability to feel and to suffer, that's the first real step towards empathy.
And check this out, there's this really well-known Islamic tradition that just frames this whole thing perfectly. It's not just some nice little story, it's a huge teaching. It says a person was forgiven just because they gave water to a thirsty dog. Think about that. One simple act of mercy for an animal was powerful enough to earn someone forgiveness. That tells you everything, doesn't it? Compassion isn't just for humans, it's for all of creation.
Okay, so we've covered the why. We get it. But what happens if we just do nothing? If we just look the other way? Well, doing nothing has some really serious consequences, because ignoring a problem like this doesn't make it disappear. Nope, it actually makes things a whole lot worse for everybody.
You see, doing nothing kicks off this dangerous chain reaction. When animals are neglected, they can spread diseases, things like rabies. When they're starving and scared, of course they can become more aggressive. And what's the result? An unsafe community for all of us, the animals and the people. So yeah, our inaction, it has a very, very real cost.
And this is so important. This is not an us versus them situation. Not at all. Taking responsible care of animals, things like vaccinations and making sure they're fed properly, that's directly tied to our own public health. Bottom line, a healthier animal population means a safer, healthier society for you, for me, for everyone.
All right, so let's be real. Most of us, we want to help. We see an animal that's suffering and our hearts just break, right? But here's the thing we really have to get. Good intentions, by themselves, aren't always enough. The reality on the ground is just a little more complicated than that.
I mean, you see it all the time, right? People leave out some leftovers, or maybe they see a sad post online and make a quick donation, and that comes from a good place. But we have to stop and ask, is that really the best way to help? Is it actually making a long-term difference? Is it solving the real underlying problems? And this is exactly where those good intentions can kind of miss the mark. See, just feeding a dog here and there doesn't get it vaccinated against rabies. It doesn't treat its wounds. And that donation you made out of emotion, it could get wasted if it doesn't go to the right place. For real, lasting change, we need a smarter, more structured way of thinking about this.
So the big question is, how do we level up? How do we go from just feeling bad to actually doing something effective? This is where we make the shift from just wanting to help to really learning how to help in a smart, responsible way that makes a real, lasting difference.
So instead of just random acts of kindness, there's a much better way. Think of it like a 3-step plan. First, find trusted, established organizations to support with your donations. Second, focus on making sure that support is going towards medical care, not just food. That's huge. And third, throw your support behind the local shelters. They're the ones doing the tough day-to-day work.
Okay, so what does a trusted organization even look like? What should you be looking for? Well, they're the ones focusing on vaccination programs to stop the spread of disease. They prioritize sterilization or neutering to humanely manage the population. They provide real medical treatment for animals that are sick or hurt. And yeah, they might do feeding drives, but they do them responsibly as part of a bigger plan.
Now look, supporting the big organizations is awesome, super important. But don't ever think that what you do as one person doesn't matter. It absolutely does. Let's talk about the small things you can do every single day that can add up to a massive difference. So what can you do? Easy stuff. Leave out a bowl of fresh, clean water, especially when it's hot outside. That can literally save a life. If you spot an animal that's hurt, be that person. Be the one who actually picks up the phone and calls a local vet or a rescue group. And honestly, Just talk about this stuff. Raising awareness with your friends and family is one of the most powerful things you can do.
So when we put it all together, what do we see? We see that caring for these animals isn't just some favor we're doing for them. It's actually a service to our entire community. It helps create a society that's safer and more compassionate for everyone. And the absolute key to making it all work is to do it responsibly.
We've seen today that even the smallest, simplest act of kindness can have this incredible, profound meaning. It doesn't matter if it's a donation, a phone call, or just a bowl of water. Every single responsible action counts. So, I'll leave you with this one final thought. What's your act of mercy going to be?